Ajnana-timirandasya gyanangena salakaya Sakshur-militan yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namuma Varanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Koratuse Namaha. Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. We're reading from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, the advent of Lord Chaitanya, that is in Ādi-līlā chapter 13, by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, and the purports by Om Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swāmī Prabhupada. Text 65. In all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained throughout. Therefore, devotees of Lord Krishna do not recognize the processes of philosophical speculation, mystic yoga, unnecessary austerity, and so-called religious rituals. They do not accept any process but devotional service. In the house of Advaita Acharya, all the Vaishnavas took pleasure in always talking about Krishna, always worshipping Krishna, and always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu felt pain to see all the people without Krishna consciousness, simply merging in material sense enjoyment. Seeing the condition of the world, he began to think seriously of how all these people could be delivered from the clutches of Maya. Srila Advaita Acharya Prabhu thought, if Krishna himself appears to distribute the cult of devotional service, then only will liberation be possible for all people. With this consideration, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, promising to cause Lord Krishna to descend, began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna with tulasi leaves and water of the Ganges. By loud cries, he invited Krishna to appear, and this repeated invitation attracted Lord Krishna to descend. Before the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 8 daughters took birth one after another from the womb of Sachi Mata, the wife of Jagannath Mishra. But just after their birth, they all died. Jagannath Mishra was very unhappy at the death of his children, one after another. Therefore, desiring a son, he worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. After this, Jagannath Mishra got a son of the name Vishvarup, who was most beautiful and highly qualified because he was an incarnation of Baladev. The expansion of Baladev, known as Shankarshan in the spiritual world, is the ingredient and immediate cause of this material cosmic manifestation. The gigantic universal form is called the Vishvarup incarnation of Maha Shankarshan. Thus, we do not find anything within this cosmic manifestation except the Lord Himself. As the thread in a cloth spreads both lengthwise, as the thread in a cloth spread both lengthwise and breadthwise, so everything we see within this cosmic manifestation is directly and indirectly existing in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is not very wonderful for him, because Maha Shankarshan is the ingredient and efficient cause of the cosmic manifestation. He is present in every detail of it. Lord Chaitanya therefore called him his elder brother. The 2 brothers are known as Krishna and Balaram in the spiritual world. But at the present moment, they are Chaitanya and Nitai. Therefore, the conclusion is that Nityananda Prabhu is the original Shankarshan, Baladev. The husband and wife, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, having gotten Vishvarup as their son, were very pleased with their minds. Because of their pleasure, they specifically began to serve the lotus feet of Govinda. There is the purport of Srila Swāmī Maharaj. There is a common saying in India that everyone goes to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he is in distress, but when a person is in an opulent position, he forgets God. In Bhagavad Gita 7, verse 16, this is also confirmed. If backed by pious activities in the past, 4 kinds of men, namely those who are distressed, those in need of money, those searching after knowledge, and those who are inquisitive, become interested in devotional service. The husband and wife, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, were very unhappy because their 8 daughters had passed away. Now, when they got Vishvarup as their son, certainly they became extremely happy. They knew that it was by the grace of the Lord that they were endowed with such happiness and opulence. Therefore, instead of forgetting the Lord, they become more and more adherent in rendering service to the lotus feet of Govinda. When a common man becomes opulent, he forgets God. But the more opulent a devotee becomes by the grace of the Lord, the more he becomes attached to the service of the Lord. In the month of January, in the year 1406 of the Shaka era, Lord Krishna entered the bodies of both Jagannath Mishra and Sachi. Jagannath Mishra said to Sachi Mata, "I see wonderful things. Your body is effulgent, and it appears as if the goddess of fortune were now staying personally in my home. Anywhere and everywhere I go, all people offer me respect. Even without my asking, they voluntarily give me riches, clothing, and paddy." Sachi Mata told her husband, "I also see wonderfully brilliant human beings appearing in outer space as if offering prayers." Jagannath Mishra then replied, "In a dream, I saw the effulgent abode of the Lord enter my heart. From my heart it entered your heart. I therefore understand that a great personality will soon take birth." After this conversation, both husband and wife were very jubilant, and together they rendered service to the household Shalagram Shila. In this way, the pregnancy approached its 13th month, but still there was no sign of the delivery of the child. Thus Jagannath Mishra became greatly apprehensive. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then did an astrological calculation and said that in a month, taking advantage of an auspicious moment, the child would take birth. Thus, in the year 1407 of the Shaka era, in the month of Falguna, March-April, on the evening of the full moon, the desired auspicious moment appeared. According to the Jyotirveda, or Vedic astronomy, when the figure of the lion appears both in the zodiac and the time of birth, Lagna, this indicates a very high conjunction of planets, an area under the influence of Sattvarga and Astavarga, which are all auspicious moments. When the spotless moon of Caitanya Mahaprabhu became visible, what would be the need for a moon full of black marks on its body? Considering this, Rahu, the black planet, covered the full moon, and immediately vibrations of Krishna, Krishna, Hari inundated the 3 worlds. All people thus chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, during the lunar eclipse, and their minds were struck with wonder. When the whole world was thus chanting the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the form of Gora Hari, advented himself on the earth. Okay, we stop here for today. Jai Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Ādi-līlā, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Chaitanya, ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev. Then we're reading from In the Light of Loving Devotion by His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Rakak Śrīdhar Goswami Maharaj. Affectionate connection, that is in chapter 8. Alinea, the transcendental plane. Above this is Turiya, the fourth plane of knowledge, known as Adokshaya, the transcendental plane. It has been revealed through the great devotee scholar Sri Ramanuj Acharya, as well as other Vaishnava Acharyas. It is the Adokshaya, that is, existing beyond the scope of the senses, whether gross or subtle. It is a plane that we can experience only when, by its sweet will, it comes down to our gross stage of understanding. And if it withdraws, we are helpless, we cannot find it. As the soul, we are the thinker, the feeler, and as a subject, we conceive the other things of the world as objects of our knowledge. But there is a higher subject than us, and that super subject is the seer, the feeler, and the knower of myself. But I cannot know him, because the plane of his existence is so fine. My knowing capacity cannot rise up and penetrate into it. My knowing principle is gross, and that plane is so subtle, so fine, it can come down to contact with me, but I cannot go up to contact with him. In this way, I may be handled by him, by that transcendental substance and existence, the super-subjective existence, the super-soul. When that plane comes down to contact me, I may have some experience of it, and when it is withdrawn, I can only carry the memory of that, nothing else. I cannot give any proof of its existence, but by any will or acumen of my own, I am helpless to do that. Because it has withdrawn, I cannot stand in the witness box and give evidence for it, to prove my case, because the fact that I am referring to is no longer there. It has gone, but at the same time, we cannot deny its existence. There is such a possibility that we can experience that higher existence, and those of us who have such experience cannot deny it, and that existence is fully independent. When by its sweet will it withdraws, we cannot force it to remain under our command. All-powerful and independent. So Adokshaya is the fourth plane of knowledge, the fourth dimension of consciousness. It is beyond our experience. We are, as it were, underground, and real knowledge is above, on the surface. That plane is beyond our experience, but if the thick coverings walling up our consciousness, our experience can be pierced through, then we can come in connection with it. Ado kritam indriyayam jnanam. Adokshaya means the superior knowledge which can overcome, can suppress or force down our knowledge of the experience of this world. It is transcendental, supramental knowledge. That plane is not similar to this world. It is different in every way, It is grand, all-powerful and all-inspiring. It is known as Vaikuntha, the unlimited spiritual region of awe and power. Pure love's domain. Through Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we come to know there is yet a fifth stage, a fifth dimension of knowledge, and it has a peculiar characteristic. It is very similar to this mundane world, yet it is not mundane. It is called Aprakrita. It is the most fully fledged theistic conception, which is only found in Krishna's domain, Goloka. Central knowledge of the Absolute must have a connection with all, even the lowest level of the mundane creation and existence. It must be able to harmonize the worst portion of the illusory world. That knowledge, that plane, is called Aprakrita, supramundane. To enter that highest realm is possible only through divine love. Everything can be compensated for through love. There is a saying that the loving mother thinks her blind child has beautiful lotus eyes. She is blinded by affection. So what is mean and low can be compensated for by love. And like a precious ornament, this shines very beautifully, and that is prema, divine love. Through mercy, through pity, through grace, a king can become to play with a boy on the street. Affection can make it possible, and the difference between high and low disappears at such a stage. Vrindavan life. The purest devotion is Jnana Sunya Bhakti, divine love which is free from any calculation and does not consider even the opulence and power of the Lord. This is above Vaikuntha, and it goes under the spell of Yoga Maya, the spiritually enchanting potency. It is the special art of Yoga Maya that those holding the highest position think themselves very insignificant. So the residents of Krishna's abode, Vrindavan, do not know, they are not conscious of their own exalted position. They think themselves ordinary. Love removes the difference of great and small, high and low, and their love is free from any trace of calculation. Vrindavan is such a plane of existence. This is the beautiful nature of the Aprakrita realm, of Vrindavan life. It is great, without the attitude, the air of bigness. Although the residents are really great, they appear to be simple. Power dressed in affection and love, and couched in humility. Such is Vrindavan, and it is above Vaikuntha, the plane of awe, reverence, power and opulence. Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say this is the highest and most laudable place for us to live. There the Supreme Lord Krishna and the gopis are living in the forest. We find no grandeur or big buildings there, but if we have a true eye for grandeur, we will see it in Vrindavan. From an impartial judgment of the facts, their position is very great, but through humility they have apparently descended to our level. It is a very sweet and beautiful form of life that we can find in Vrindavan, and Mahaprabhu came to show us that through Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is the Lord of that land, and the cows, hills, forest and the Jamuna river are all creating a favorable environment there. Okay, I finished this chapter. Relief from mania. Go home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas to teach us and take us up and make us the permanent inhabitants of that place. He says that actually our real self lives in that plane, but unfortunately our consciousness has become focused outside. Now we are captured by the mundane aspect of this creation and think that we are suffering, but this is all illusion. We must get relief from this mania. Just as a madman leaves his home and wanders in the street, collecting pieces of paper and cloth, so we are focused in this world. But when this madness is gone, we will awaken in our own home. Mahaprabhu tells us, you must return home, back to Godhead. You must go home. Your home is such a beautiful land. You must only try for that. At the bottom of all your troubles is the fact that you have identified yourself with this material world and this body of flesh and blood. You have to retrace your path and go back to your home. That is what is necessary. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is for all of us. It is for the purpose of taking us back home, where we can have home comforts, home sweetness. If we have any home consciousness within us, we cannot but appreciate such a proposal. Home, sweet home. Jai. Affectionate Guidance, Chapter 8, In the Light of Loving Devotion, Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sun, Bhakti Rakak Sita Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinath Radha Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Radha Srivasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatara Kunda. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasara Gunata. Jai Kusai Kori Charana Bandana.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandana.
Yao Te Vignana Savishta Pura. Jai Kusai Jai Murita Radha. Dansavara Parare Numura Panchakra. Sandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva.
Sandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva.
Janame Janame More Abhilas. Jai Kusai Jabe Bhaja Kola Bhasa. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Pragas. Anande Bola Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayama. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya. Harinam Sankirtana Kori Narotamadas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Saparikara Sisi Guru Kuranga Sundar Radha Giridhari Ki Jai. Jaya Saparikara Sisi Guru Kuranga Sundar Radha Giridhari Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Swāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Rakak Sita Dev Swāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Sila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuka Guruvaka Ki Jai. Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishvavarena Sila Esi Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai. Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Jai. All glories to the world devotees Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Sarasvati